Well, hello there, motherfuckers. And I wanted to talk about Enzo Amore. So, you guys all know that I'm a massive fan of this guy. When he was Cruiserweight champion, it was like one of the few things I was saying positive in my Raw reviews or about the Cruiserweight division. I was loving his promos. I was loving his cocky heel character. He was bringing a level of personality to the show that nobody else was doing, earlier in the year. And I was super excited to see him at Raw 25. All right, not super excited, but the show ended up sucking. I knew it was going to suck, but I was like, I can't wait to see what they're going to do with Enzo. The Nia Jax thing kind of slowed him down, that little relationship angle, but I did want to see a payoff because Enzo's just so damn entertaining. And, he just, to me, he comes off as he might be to a lot of people. They refer to him as an asshole because he's cocky. He wants to live a lavish lifestyle. He wants to live like a superstar. But I like that because honestly, the guy acts like a celebrity. You know what I'm saying? It's like you used to see Hulk Hogan palling around with big celebrities. Was he an asshole? Finally, there was a guy who, wasn't just a mark, wasn't just a fan like Finn Balor or Kevin Owens. I'm happy to be here, guys. Finally, there wasn't just some annoying, smiling goofball slapping his knee, just happy to be there. Finally there was a guy with a bit of an edge to him. He was a smaller guy. He didn't really look like a world champion, but he definitely had the personality of a world champion. He definitely had that flair to him. Like, I understand some Enzo fans might hate me for this, but like that larger than life, lavish type of character like Ric Flair, but in a different vein. I love when he would come out there with the Gucci stuff, the leopard print, the sunglasses, wearing his hair in different styles. I mean, and the guy invested in his outfits. Every single week he'd come out there with a new outfit on. It was kind of like Rob Van Dam, but like in a different vein, of course. But just really like appreciating being out there and like how the fans perceived him. Like, just having a different outfit, always seeming fresh, always seeming new, because, people say, oh, he's wearing something different. Unlike everybody else, Kevin Owens is always wearing the same t-shirt. He only changes it when a new shirt comes out on WWE Shop. Sami Zayn is always wearing the same hoodie and the same stupid hat. Finally, Enzo brought back like that style of like a Ric Flair or superstar Billy Graham, just wearing different shit, just coming out there and just trying to just present a visual to you, like, hey, who is this guy? He looks different than all the other schmucks out there. And that's the thing about Enzo. So, that's how I felt about him. He had very strong promo skills. People were knocking his wrestling ability, which didn't really seem to be too much of an issue when he was in NXT. Because when he was in NXT, it was just fine, right? It was just great. But, once he started beating guys like TJP, it became an issue. All of a sudden, oh, he's beating these guys that are more athletic, that do several more flips. I was like, I don't really see anything wrong with Enzo's in-ring work. He might not do all the flippy, dippy, indie shit and risk breaking his neck. He wrestled a smarter, safer style. He still had some cool moves like his diving DDT and shit, so I don't even understand. He had some cool moves. I don't understand why people had so much of a problem with his in-ring style. I don't get it. It's like all these, some of the marks, they want to praise Bret Hart and shit. Bret Hart wasn't doing fucking somersault planches every 2 minutes, so I don't understand really, you know. But Enzo was a personality first and foremost. So that is why I was heartbroken when this girl just accused Enzo of the very worst thing possible, of rape. She accused him of forcing himself on her, and getting into her position, saying that, he was a celebrity and that she wanted him due to his celebrity status and his notoriety and the fact that he was a major wrestler. So, of course, many people assume the worst, like what's been going on recently. And so, it was just kind of like what was going on in Hollywood. It was like, okay, this guy's being blacklisted right off the bat. Enzo didn't report that he was being investigated by the cops to WWE. At first, the situation came out and they suspended him. And then when they found, when they thought more of it and kind of, I guess, looked into the situation and found out that Enzo knew for quite some time and it had already been going on, the investigation had already been transpiring for a week, they said, you know what, we're just going to fire you. And sure enough, he was released from his contract. The thing was, it's like, I know it's a bit unrealistic. I know, from personal experience, that you just can't expect employers to just do what you think is right because they're operating on a different corporate code, of course. So, but it's just like, it's wrestling. It's a bit different. You would expect them to be a bit more understanding. You're a celebrity. You're going to be more out there to attack, because people are going to get their name, off of your celebrity. Think about it. This girl got herself on TMZ. She got herself in the news, Philomena, just by accusing Enzo of something. And the thing is, she knew by what was going on in Hollywood with the Harvey Weinsteins and such that all it would take was just an accusation. Just think about that for a moment. This is what I tried to convey to the people earlier this year in my videos when this happened to Enzo initially. I said, think about it. This girl, all she had to do was just say it. Just speak those words. And Enzo's life fell apart. Fell apart. Just by saying those words. That he did this to me. No proof, no nothing. And God bless I Am Sam Cooke for releasing those text messages, for basically, it may be, saving Enzo's tail. Because we have heard stories about how, guys have gone to jail for years and it would later come out that, that the girl was lying about these accusations. Just showing that there doesn't even need to be any proof anymore. Basically, you are guilty until proven innocent. The exact opposite of how it is supposed to be in the legal system, which is, I couldn't believe that this was happening to somebody that I viewed as a rising star. And I felt if he had a few more months, I thought that, even though creative is so fucked up and they fuck everybody up, I was like, I'm just happy to see Enzo. He's just a guy that I just kind of like no matter what. It's kind of even like a guy like Zack Ryder. I see the guy on social media. He's just a positive guy. He seems like a fun guy. He seems like a nice guy. And I just root for him naturally. It doesn't matter if he's a jobber like Zack Ryder or, Enzo, who's being accused of such terrible things. It's like, these guys, that's why I was like, Enzo was just trying to do his job. He was just living a lifestyle. And of course, it's foolish. Probably fooling around with too many girls. He got in over his head. He put himself a bit out there. That's what happens when you're a party animal. These things are more likely to happen to somebody who is more of a shut-in. More of the introverts who probably don't go out and party after the show. They might go and play video games at the hotel instead. So, of course you could blame Enzo for that, but Enzo was just having a good time. He's just enjoying his celebrity status. And why shouldn't he? I mean, you get to a certain level in life that's not accessible to the average schmo. Why would you not just, go and grab life by the balls and just enjoy it when you have that status? So, you can't really knock Enzo too much for that. That's just what celebrities do. They're just enjoying their lifestyle. And it was, you could see this guy wasn't miserable. He was a positive guy. He seemed like he was enjoying himself on television, always motivated, always putting 110% into his promos and everything he did, no matter how poorly written. Even having to go out there and job to Sin Cara Kalisto in some ridiculous main event match that should have never happened. He still came out there the very next week or so and still put in a great performance. It did not matter to Enzo. So, right now I'm watching him on social media. Recently, he had been cleared of all charges, thankfully. I can't even believe that investigation was still going on, despite I Am Sam Cook, basically blowing. I mean, you could definitely say when I Am Sam Cook came out with those text messages from Philomena, I still feel that there should be action taken against this girl. I mean, she ruined this guy's life. She basically got him fired from WWE. I mean, of course, it was more of him just not reporting the police thing. I don't know. I guess it's a black mark on your record. It's kind of like what happened with Hulk Hogan. Whether or not, it was true. If it's not proven, it's like, how can you come at the guy? There was no evidence, so it's kind of like you knew right off the bat it was bullshit. Because the thing is, what I'm saying, there was like no DNA test, no nothing like that. So it's like, where was the proof of this? I don't understand why it was going on for as long as it was. I don't get it. I don't understand. I would just think that it would be a simple, DNA test, and that would be it, but apparently not. But I Am Sam Cook definitely saved Enzo to a great degree, or at least helped him be found to be innocent a lot sooner. So, I guess the investigation has been closed, or just nothing's been found this time. Whatever it was, I don't know if it was an update, but, I don't know. It would be silly to continue on this investigation, is all I'm saying, but whatever. So, that's a waste of taxpayer dollars if I ever did see it. I mean, once those text messages come out, that should be all the proof you need. If you could have no proof and accuse somebody and have them arrested and have them get fired from their job, then I believe a few text messages showing that the girl was lying, well, that's more proof than you had, to begin with. So I don't get that. That's not a level playing field. But then again, who says that it is? Who says anymore that it's supposed to be fair? There's so many things that are not fair in life, and I guess in this case, it's a legal system when it comes to this sort of thing. But I'm watching him, he's trying to get involved in his music, which I didn't even know that he did. He's a rapper apparently. He did some meetup event in Times Square. So he's going under the name, I think his rapping name is Phoenix or something like that. And, all mentions of Enzo have been removed from his Instagram. But all I'm saying is I'm happy that the guy is trying to stay positive. He seems like he's trying to piece back together his life. And it's so sad because it's like I want to watch him on Raw again and get that enjoyment of seeing some guy who really seemed like he had a zest for what he was doing in life. He seemed really passionate. These guys that, slap their knee and say they're so happy to be there. This guy looked even happier than them because he was really putting in 110%. I mean, he really was going out there, and he really seemed like he really appreciated his job because he was putting in a lot of effort, and he was earning his money. And he earned that right to go out there and celebrate. And he might have acted a little bit like an idiot at times, but, people at your local bar do that all the time. So I don't understand why it's so much of an issue for a guy like Enzo. But, I wish he could get back. They would hire him, but, I don't know. Truthfully, I don't see it happening. I know never say never. Remember, Sable came back to the WWE. Yes, that was a different time, but perhaps all will be forgiven. I just don't know. Like I said, never say never, but I don't see it happening anytime, Enzo was not very well liked. I think a lot of the boys in the back were probably jealous of him. They probably felt, oh, well, this guy wasn't an indie darling, so he doesn't deserve to be here. So, I'm sure all the Finn Balor's and the Sami Zayns probably didn't like him. So that's probably what's keeping him out of the WWE, from them giving him a second chance. But all I'm saying is basically what I said earlier in the year. WWE should look at this. It's a pretty scary thing. Enzo was accused of rape with no evidence, with like nobody having his back, until I Am Sam Cook actually stepped forward, who was Philomena's friend, said, this is wrong. She has a history of doing this, and I'm not going to let her get away with it. So he jumped to his defense on YouTube, and God bless him for doing that. Because like I said, he probably saved his tail by doing so. So, the thing is, though, how can you imagine you were in that situation? Really, you had like no one else you could turn to. He didn't even know that I Am Sam Cook was going to do him that favor to right those wrongs. So, something that even the police, even the investigators couldn't even find, right? Even what they were trained for. All the detectives looking into this case and everything, and combing his file over with a fine-tooth comb. I mean, this guy on the internet, he provided better evidence than anybody in law enforcement ever could. So how would you feel if you were Enzo? I mean, wouldn't you be nervous to go in the office and tell this to Vince McMahon, or, anybody in upper management like Stephanie McMahon or Triple H? Wouldn't you be scared shitless? I mean, wouldn't the same result have even happened to him? But then you could say, oh, but, at least he would have been honest, and, maybe then he would have an opportunity to come back, or they could have helped him. Somehow, some way, I think the same result probably would have happened. And that's pretty sad to say, but I think that's probably that's what would have happened. The same thing would have happened to Enzo. They probably would have been like, okay, we don't want you now, man. Thanks for telling us that, but those are the facts. So we got to see you go there now, because we don't want anybody like you in the company right now. It's under investigation. You're going to be out there on TV. You're a public figure. We can't have. So you see what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter. It was just Enzo was just an unfortunate victim here of the times. Stuff like this is happening all the time now. You see it in the news. You see it in the media like wildfire. It's spreading like wildfire. And it just happened in the WWE. It happened in the wrestling world. And it's unfortunate, but like I said, I don't think it would have mattered either way. I'm just happy that Enzo is, he's making money. He seems like he's enjoying his life. I mean, that must be wearing on him mentally, especially because they're not like officially closing the case. It's still like a black cloud over his head. And, I still see the goofballs on Instagram reading the comments, all the smart-ass marks who don't like him because he's not a great wrestler. He doesn't, he didn't belong in the cruiserweight division with all the great athletes there that, oh, man, they were getting so much ratings. I mean, DJP, oh, what a ratings getter he was, right? I mean, man, the next Rey Mysterio there when it comes to cruiserweights. I mean, so the thing is, I said this same thing earlier in the year. Just because you don't like the guy's character on TV and you don't like him as a wrestler, doesn't mean that automatically makes him guilty. I mean, what an absurd and disgusting thing to say. What a fucked up mindset one has to have to try to convey that message. I mean, honestly. Just because you don't really like somebody or what they stand for, if they're being unjustly accused of something, you can't just automatically assume them to be guilty. I don't understand the equivalency of that. There is none. So there you go, guys. So at least he's doing well. And for those who haven't been following what's been going on after this terrible, situation, I hope that this was a nice little update for you. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, guys.